Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Midweek Tax Help. It is Wednesday, March 3rd. Can you guys believe it's already March? I feel like last year was very, very long and drawn out until we got towards the end of the year, and then now everything's just sped up rapidly. So I'm just like, wow, we're already in March. Can you guys believe it? Anywho, I wanted to come to get to you guys today. I know we missed the week last week because we got kind of busy with all the tax returns and everything, just making sure all of our clients are getting submitted properly and on time. So just wanted to come to you guys to talk to you a little bit about some things that I have come across in my time of doing preparing business and personal tax returns. So two things I want you guys to be aware of that you may not know right now, or make sure you're checking with your tax preparers to make sure they include all the credits that are available to you. One thing for self-employed individuals: if you yourself contracted COVID-19 or had to take care of someone who contracted COVID-19 last year, there is a sick leave credit for you that is available to you. If of course, if you qualify, make sure you have all your doctor's notes and everything, and explanation, and you put in how many days that you were unavailable to work due to having COVID-19 or taking care of someone who had COVID-19, and you will get an additional credit for that. Another credit is the recovery rebate credit. The stimulus payments went out last year. Some people either didn't receive their full payments, or they may not have received both stimulus payments. Like in my case, I didn't receive my second stimulus payment. So you can apply for that in your tax refund this year. So they'll go ahead and add that on as a refund for you if you did not receive either all of your stimulus payments, or if you didn't receive both of your stimulus payments or one of your stimulus payments. And just those two things, get those out of the way. So let's talk about what's going on with my business people. Hey, business folks, where y'all at? Anyway, I want to talk to you guys a little bit because I'm starting to see more and more of this happening. So I just want to give you guys some helpful tips to avoid, some of the misinformation that's out there regarding LLCs, corporations, nonprofits, partnerships, any of those types of entities. Okay, so a lot of people are told, hey, go file an LLC. Okay, great. I'm going to file an LLC. No liability or limited liability. Yay. Okay. A lot of the times, what they do not tell you when you're doing your LLC is that your LLC needs to have a minimum of 2 partners to be able to file an LLC return with the federal IRS. Okay, so what I mean by that is if you are what they call a single member LLC, you actually put all of your income, your expenses, everything still goes onto a traditional Schedule C, just as it would if you were a regular self-employed individual. Because an LLC is a pass-through company. So what a pass-through company is all profits and losses are passed through over to the shareholders, which are the owners. Okay. Also, an S corp type of corporation is also a pass-through entity and acts like an LLC. But the difference is an S corp can have a single owner. You don't have to have 2. So just keep in mind, with an LLC, you have to have at least 2 partners, owners, or members in order to file the LLC return with the IRS. That's your federal return. Another thing that I'm seeing that is hurting my LLC folks is they are not being told that they still have to file a state report. Depending on the state that you're in. Now, I'm going to talk about this more from a California standpoint. There are other states that may require you to fill out a state form, but I'm going to tailor this one specifically to California. Please check with your tax preparer and your state to find out if you have an LLC, if you are required to prepare a state return. Okay, so in California specifically, you still have to pay $800 to have an entity here. It doesn't matter whether it's an LLC, a corporation, an S corp, a partnership, whatever it is. If you want to do business in the state of California and you want to form for a formal entity, you have to pay an $800 fee to the franchise tax board. Okay, don't matter. There's no way around it. There's no way getting around it. You can try filing out of state, but then guess what? If your address is based here or your members are based here, you're still making money in California. You're still gonna have to pay them something. And then on top of paying the franchise board tax fee, you have to pay a foreign tax fee. So, okay, enough of that. Let's stay on track, backtrack here so I can make sure I'm giving you the information I'm coming to you from. Because I want you guys to know how to file your taxes properly so that you don't get your entity suspended. I want you to avoid suspension of your LLC, your corporation, your nonprofit, all of those entities, because if you do not file the proper reports with the state, especially with California, your entity can be suspended. Okay. I know Delaware, I believe they have a $300 a year state fee or something like that, but double check that because everything is on a state by state basis. Okay. So I am talking to you from my aspect here in California. So in California, if you have an LLC and you're a single member LLC, you will file all your income and expenses on a traditional Schedule C for your federal return. But you also have to file the LLC form for your California. So they call it a state report. You still have to file a state report with the state of California and pay the $800 to the franchise tax board. Another thing that people are not being told when they're creating these LLCs as a single person, they're not being told that the $800 franchise fee is due upfront. It is not due in arrears like our traditional federal taxes. When I say arrears, that means we work all year, they take some money out, or we pay some money into it, or we don't pay nothing, and we take care of it all at the end when it's time to file taxes, the following year. Franchise tax board tax fees do not work that way. So if you have your franchise tax board fees are due the 15th day of the 4th month after your incorporation date. So if the state of California says, hey, we have granted you, the right to do business here in California, your entity date is 5/12/2020. Let's just say 5/12/2020. That means your $800 is due. So we got May, so we're going to count 4, right? So May, June, July, August, September. So September 15th, your $800 is due for 2020. You don't wait until you file your taxes in 2021 to pay the $800 for 2020. Because guess what? If you do that, now you owe $1,600 as opposed to $800, okay? So I'm seeing a lot of my business people not being told that, or I don't know if they maybe, glanced over it in the paperwork. So I just want you guys to know to be aware and stay on top of that and keep that on your calendar. Now, LLC returns, of course, are due on March 15th. And if you don't have them filed on time, you incur penalties, okay? So you have to be really careful and you have to file your statements of information. Some people don't stay on top of that either, which can also cause a penalty and a suspension. So what I'm seeing with my LLC people is that they didn't know that, hey, okay, well, they're filing my stuff on a Schedule C, so I'm good. I reported everything. They're not seeing that they were supposed to file a state report and pay the $800. So guess what? They've been operating their LLC illegally for 4 or 5 years, and it's been suspended because they never paid. 1, they never paid the $800. 2, they never filed the state reports. 3, they didn't file the statement of information because they thought, well, my tax preparer said I just got to put it on this Schedule C and I'm fine. Or they try to do it themselves and they did some research and found out, oh, okay, well, I have an LLC, so I do it as a Schedule C. I just want people to be informed, okay? I know it's probably not being portrayed as professionally as I would like it to be, but I just kind of like to keep it real and talk to you from a standpoint where you can really understand and digest the information because, I can get all technical and go book for book, word by word and everything like that, but it would do it would do you a disservice if you don't understand all the technical terms and everything. So I'm trying to keep it to where it's easily understood by anyone, even children, because I talk to my kids about these same things. Okay. So just remember, if you have an LLC and you are a single member, you file a Schedule C on your federal tax return, but you still file your state report depending upon your state and pay your fees depending on your state. So there are states out there that do not charge state taxes or anything like that. So, most of the time you won't have to worry about doing a state form for those states, but still always check with your tax preparer, your accountant, your attorney, whoever it is that you go to, and make sure that you understand the rules for your particular state and that pertain to the particular entity setup that you have. Another another thing I come across is with my nonprofits. Um, Nonprofits. I just have like a little special place in my heart for my nonprofit people. Okay. A common misconception when you hear the term nonprofit, people think nonprofit means no money. That's not true. Nonprofits can make money. They make money all the time. Look at Goodwill. Look at Salvation Army. Look at how much their CEOs, they're making millions and millions of dollars a year in salaries as a nonprofit, and they're not paying taxes on those profits because why? They are a nonprofit entity that is registered with that state and with the federal government. Okay, so nonprofit people. If your gross receipts are $50,000 or less, we can do a simple 990N e-passport and also a 199N e-passport. And that's for California. The 199 is for California, okay? I'm just talking about California right now. You can file those reports online, and they take literally maybe 5-10 minutes, just kind of depends. Doesn't take long if your gross receipts were less than $50,000 for the year. If your gross receipts were more than $50,000 for the year, of course, you file your traditional 990 and your traditional 199 with the state of California. This is California. Other states, of course, the form changes by state, but the federal form is always the same. It's a 990. So what I'm seeing with some of my nonprofit clients is they're losing their nonprofit status because they're not filing their reports. If you do not file your nonprofit reports for 3 years consecutively, that means 3 years in a row, you will lose your nonprofit status and you will have to reapply for that nonprofit status, okay? Just so you're aware of that. So that's something you have to stay on top of. Nonprofit reports or returns are due on May 15th every year, okay? So make sure you're filing your nonprofit returns on time and, getting those out and keeping your status clean. Same thing with your corporation and with your S Corp. You want to make sure you file those tax returns on time. You want to make sure you file with your state, the correct forms with your state if necessary or applicable, and pay the associated fees that are due. Make sure you file your statement of information. I know with California, we have to file a statement of information every year. It costs about $25 to do it online. But guess what? That $25 quickly turns into $250 should you miss a year of applying for or submitting your statement of information. Your statement of information, it just goes over your entity, the name, your address, and the officers within the company. It's to keep all of that information updated, okay? And so, again, please, 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 if you are a single member LLC, consider, I'm not telling you you have to, but just a consideration, consider electing to have it taxed as an S Corp or a C Corp. And this will help give you the maximum tax benefit that you could qualify for. Because if you file it just traditionally self-employment tax is about 13.5%, something like that, a little bit more. You guys can look that up and find out exactly what the percentage is. But it's taxed a little bit higher, and your deductions are calculated a little bit differently from the way that they would be calculated if you're able to file on like a C Corp tax return, like which is an 1120, or an S corp, which is an 1120S. Okay. And so please, 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 LLCs, single members, you will file on the Schedule C for your federal, and for your state, it will be whatever form is required by your state. Okay. Then you have, if you do have more than one person that is in the LLC, then you're fine to go ahead and file the regular 1065. Yeah, the 1065 is the federal form. So you can file a 1065 as long as you have two people, but you must have at least two owners, two shareholders to be able to use the 1065 and get all of those write-offs that go under the LLCs. Okay, I hope this has been some helpful information for you. If you're still looking for a tax preparer or you need some help with your current tax files, please feel free to reach out to us. My name is Latoya Tillett. We're Tax Plus Financial Services. You can reach us at 909-494-2280, on the web at Tax Plus hyphen, that's the dash in the middle, financial services.com, and you'll be able to meet the team. You can see all the preparers that work for us. Well, some of the preparers anyway, those who weren't being shy and wanted to put their picture, didn't want to put their picture on there. But for the ones that did, they're on there. You can even start your tax return online by downloading our app. And there's a page on the website for that as well. So you can go ahead and get your taxes started. If you want to do a 15-minute consultation, you can also book that through the website or by contacting the 909-494-2280. And or you can reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram. We are Tax Plus Financial Services on both platforms. So we just look forward to helping everyone. And I just want to make sure everyone is informed in their business endeavors, in their business decisions. Make sure you're making good informed decisions. You have all the information, ask all of the pertinent questions, and, always, please, always, I know it's always tempting to do your taxes yourself. Unless you have a zero tax return where all you have to do is go enter zero, I would not suggest filing your business entity on your own unless you're a tax preparer like myself. But I don't even like doing my own taxes. So, I would even have someone else do my taxes as well. It's just about checks and balances. So you want to make sure that you prevent suspension of your entities, and you want to prevent audits of your entities. So make sure you get with a reputable tax preparation company or person who knows the business and knows knows the tax law, or get a CPA or talk to an attorney and just get the information correct that you need that pertains to your particular situation. So there you have it. That's midweek tax help. Welcome to March. Well, we're almost in spring. I can't wait. Spring is like my favorite season. So, it's just usually nice and comfortable. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's just beautiful and everything starts to bloom and it's just amazing. And plus I'm a spring baby. So that may be why I'm a little biased. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. I'm glad I could be of service, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Make it a great week.